makes that Undying into a support role as well, where we just miss out the hero for era here.
Yeah, it certainly
on the side of 4SC, I would assume Matumba Man is going to be in the Lashar.
Okay.
It's just his hero, and then you have the support Shadow Demon. I think Valix played that most likely. I'm not sure. Then you have a Lion as well, and now a Bloodseeker. The only person that played the Bloodseeker so far on the side of 4SC was Matumba Man, and it was not successful.
I mean, the Bloodseeker is a very strange, but we do see it has been picked up a few times in the qualifiers. Why do you feel that they picked it up this game? I mean, what's the kind of opening you want to look to put a Bloodseeker into?
To me, Bloodseeker is always one of those heroes. You want to combine him with a hero such as Zeus. I still think Zeus is probably the strongest hero that harasses a mid hero, so he gains a lot of passive stacks, where he gains a lot of movement speed and attack damage. Whereas you can buff the Zeus as well, and you gain a crazy chunk of extra damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the Zeus. So it's a great tool that way as well. So you can use it aggressive just for the Bloodseeker, where he gains a bit of damage and movement speed, but also just you buff another hero. And
that's
right
Era's hero, isn't it?
That is indeed Era's hero here. But right now, I just feel like it's alright. If the Lashrak would go in the mid lane, then Bloodseeker can gain a lot. Just because Lashrak is just one of those heroes that will spam the chain lightning. And Bloodseeker can gain those charges. You keep a mid hero semi-low, and then his passive, the Thirst, is going to just give him that extra damage and movement speed. It can work wonders, but is it going to happen that way? We are yet to see. And I wouldn't... I'm just like a bit skeptical right now because it hasn't worked out for them, and we just have to see what happens in this game, really.
Okay, and now with the final pick here from the side of 4 Anchors and Sea Captain, let's look to see what they close off this draft with. Now, obviously, with Ninjas in Pajamas so far, I feel like, the Viper, Undying, and just the Axe and in fact, the whole team, the lanes are going to be very strong for the side of Ninjas in Pajamas. And I mean, Bloodseeker, arguably not the strongest hero in the laning phase, or would you say otherwise?
Like I was mentioning, it depends on pretty much. He could be the strongest hero in the lane. If you know, let's say 3 out of the 5 heroes are going to drop really low on HP on their opponent team. So it's a combination of how the other lanes do and how good the one-on-one is. If the one-on-one is a melee against melee, Bloodseeker is pretty okay in most cases. If you have like the Bloodseeker and a Leshrac is going to harass really well on that mid lane, then Bloodseeker gains so much movement speed and attack damage that Bloodseeker can go out of control. And we see again Matumba Man picking up that Bloodseeker, whereas now he's looking towards a support Leshrac. Oh, actually, towards a mid lane with them.
Okay, with Nymphy on the Leshrac. Indeed, well, and with the final pick there from the side of 4SC being that Beastmaster, which we'll probably expect to see go offlane. Into the game here, the first of the 2-game series between the sides of 4 Anchors, Sea Captain, and Ninjas in Pajamas. It'll be myself, ODPixel, joined by Hani for this one. And, well, as we were saying earlier, it's going to be a very interesting one between these two sides. A lot of big things resting on this game. We'll explain more of that later after we've seen the result from Game 1, as that will give us a bit of a clearer look into the possibilities as we will enter the second game later. But for the time being, let's get ourselves in and let's get ourselves acquainted with both of the lineups. On the side of NiP, it's going to be Jonas Fan on that solo lane Axe. It will be Hansken on the Undying, Limp on his Viper, Seal Kid on the Disruptor, and finally Era on the Juggernaut. They've all come a bit onto the top lane just to see if they can catch anyone out. It was just the Beastmaster Trixie who headed out to get some wards out. And well, Hani, who are we seeing from the side of 4 Anchors, and what are they picking up this game?
On the side of 4SC, on the off lane, we're going to have Trixie on that Beastmaster. On the mid lane, we're going to have a Leshrac played by Nymphy. Then on the supports, we're going to have Boogie on that Shadow Demon, as well as Valix on that Lion support. And we're going to have Matumba Man again on that Bloodseeker. Hopefully, it's going to be a better Bloodseeker performance this game.
I mean, I was going to say, did you actually catch that game in the sense... Did you see what went wrong with the Bloodseeker pick?
So I guess the number one thing that happened entirely wrong with the game is that I would say that Alliance, on the side of Alliance, Loader jumped into a Roche pit where he gets a crush kill on a Roshan, he picks up the Aegis and they lose a 5-on-5. Generally, you can't blame one hero for that, just because if that happens, you most likely tend to lose that game. And I would not blame it to that one hero, but I felt like Bloodseeker did not find his drive in that game. He didn't really have too much of a meaning in terms of that made that hero really that valuable.
Okay, now we're going to see the lanes kind of settle out here for both sides. It's going to be this tri-lane versus tri-lane here on the bottom lane between the two teams. Leaving, of course, that Leshrac versus Viper in the mid, and the top lane, the Axe versus Beastmaster. I mean, looking at the lanes across the map, who do you feel is coming off with the kind of the stronger laning phase?
I was actually looking at it, and at first I wanted to say that 4SC has a pretty good edge in terms of if it was not a contest, and I actually did not expect NiP to contest you. If they would not have contested, you would have an Axe sitting on the off lane against a potential solo Bloodseeker, as well as having that dual roam with the Shadow Demon plus Lion. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty confident in, you know, on the side of 4AC, because they make use of getting the Viper in the middle lane very low, whereas Bloodseeker with Thirst, so far he hasn't skilled it. He gets that movement speed and attack damage, which would have resulted in him potentially even solo killing an Axe. Now that you contest, Jugger is a really tough hero when you face him.
Well, we're going to see a bit of action here on the bottom lane. They're trying to go on to Hanscan here with the Blood Bright and the Earth Spike on Quinn. They're trying to corner him up in the tree line, and that is going to be your first blood there for Matumbaman. Now can he find anything more here? He's trying to hit down onto Sealkid. Sealkid will be able to find the kill onto Boogie. They've also lost Varlix here on the side of 4SC. Matumbaman, he's trying to find a second kill. Error is there with the body block. Sealkid will drop the kinetic field. Looks like Disruptor will be able to save himself. It could be Error in trouble here, but no, Error is going to be able to get himself away, and now that Hanscan's coming in with the decay. Matumbaman's got to think very carefully if he wants to try and dive this one. And he's got the backup now. Varlix is returning into the lane. There'll be a Blood Bright drop down. Sealkid still hiding in the trees here. And they're going to look for him. The pings are coming out. Varlix wants to search for this one. Sealkid coming around out the outside. Does manage to get himself away. And the engagement does end there. 2-1 favoring the side of NiP. The side of 4SC, they did get that first blood onto the Bloodseeker. But all in all, I mean, what does that trade mean for this lane, Harney?
Overall, since you got the first blood inside of 4SC, I think it's an okay trade. Sure, you lose 2 supports, which means essentially a bit more experience here for the side of NiP, but I do not think it's the biggest giveaway.
Oh, look at this as well in the mid lane. Boogie's come in for the rotation here with the setup disruption onto Limp, and the follow-up. Eshrac's done with the split Earth. That's going to be another kill there for 4ASC, and
that is
very nice.
Very important for the momentum you have on the side of 4SC. Viper that dies in the early game is so bad for you, just because Viper's, you know, it doesn't, if Viper once falls behind you can't come back. Like, coming back as Viper is very hard. Even if you pick up a Midas, what does Midas give you? It doesn't give the hero that much. You want to have a fast mech, you want a 5-on-5. It just gives you that tanky ability, but you're not gonna grow into a late gamer essentially.
I'm going to see on the bottom lane, kinetic field is going to get dropped down. There's the tombstone as well. There'll be a defensive disruption. It's only holding him in place for the Loomis to build up, and now Matumbaman in a lot of trouble. There'll be a glimpse as well, bringing back. Error's getting low as well. Does fall as a 1-for-1 trade. Bloodseeker was the first to fall, and now with the Hex onto Sealkid, they're trying to see if they can find more here. But the kinetic field's going to get dropped. Sealkid's going to be able to get himself away. Now it's Boogie here on the Shadow Demon, who's stuck up there. Poison does connect onto the Disruptor. Shadow Demon pays with his life. Ends up being a 2-for-2 here between these two sides again. And let's have a look at the fight recap there. Very even trade between the teams, but a lot of action happening down here on this tri-lane versus tri-lane. But I guess looking at the heroes that they've got, we kind of expected this action.
Indeed. Just, you see on the side of NiP, they try to go so aggressive, but great response here at the side of 4SC. They get the kill on the Juggernaut, but unfortunately Matumbaman died before that Juggernaut, so he did not get that experience. And for Bloodseeker, the most important part in the early game is getting experience. It's not as important to get those, you know, get that gold advantage, because you're pretty okay with just having power threats at one point, but you want to have that experience. You want to have a fast thirst. Fast thirst, fast ultimate means...
Oh, look at this mid lane. There's going to be a disruption. Assault catch on to Limp here with the splitter follow-up as well. Sealkid's still into TP and trying to help out Limp. Limp's got 3 points of the corrosive skin. It looks like it's going to be enough to help him. He gets himself out. No! He does go down as he walks back in. The lightning storm flies through, but 4SC, they might lose stuff in this. They've lost Nymphy on the Leshrac. They will lose Boogie as well. Hanscan coming in with a haste rune. Very nicely picked up from the bottom rune spot.
But bottom lane.
Oh, the action continuing between the two sides. Matumbaman trying to chase this one with 2 points into the thirst. He's easily going to be able to chase down Error. Does find the kill. And again, it's, well, a bit of a global 2-for-2 trade here between the sides. And oh, well, that's made it a 3-for-2. Now, NiP do come out on top as they find the Beastmaster kill. But no, Matumbaman's there. Gets a double kill on the Bloodseeker.
And that is a beautiful rotation there.
Yeah, the fact that he was there.
He saw that Axe was going to dive. He went for it. I guess it was the right call to get that kill in a 1-on-1, but now we look at a Bloodseeker that almost hit level 6. I was gonna say with a double rotation TP towards middle, Era had to stay more passive. He did not go back, and it resulted in just him dying towards that Bloodseeker.
A lot of very tasty kills here going to the Bloodseeker. 7 for 7 at the moment, 5.5 minutes into this game, and now we're going to see Trixie has actually decided to rotate down here, and oh, apologies, we did meet out on mid lane. Leshrac going in again, finding himself a double kill as to take down the Viper and the Disruptor. And things starting to look a little bit up for the side of 4ASC. Matuma-man's been left in this lane against the Axe, and they're looking to find some farm for Trixie here on the bottom lane. I mean, what's the thought process behind this kind of lane rotation at this point on?
I think it's just that essentially Matuma-man got all these levels by these ganks. A solo kill onto Axe, but he has to watch out.
But they're going to turn this one around, or at least try to hit with the Rupture. Jonathan Fan will just stand his ground, but there's a rotation from NiP, and NiP on the Leshrac will be able to bring down the Axe. And I've got to say, at this point, we're seeing a lot of heavy rotations from both sides, but it seems to be 4SC that are coming out on top each and every time in the last couple of minutes.
And in the very 2-3 minutes now, if you can even say so, we're sitting at 6.5 minutes and we have so much going on. Bottom lane.
That's a big kill if they can bring down Era. There's going to be a disruptive as well to try and set up more, but Era's going to turn this one around. It's going to be a dominating kill streak for both the Undying and the Leshrac. The Lightning Storm flying through. Sealkid getting ball low. There'll be a glimpse bringing Emphy back, but that's actually bringing Emphy closer to Sealkid, and then we'll have Emphy to find the Lightning Storm onto the Disruptor. Handskin does pop the flesh-eating golem here. Matuma-man will just look to try and take down the Tombstone. He has the backup here of the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon has got disruption here for a few seconds. Matuma-man trying to go in with a few points in the first. Does he want to try and chase this one? He's going to pop down the Blood Rite, and a Blood Rage onto himself. He wants to go for this. No, he doesn't. There's going to be a TP coming in. He will back himself out, but this is crazy.
What is going on in this game?
21 kills, 7 minutes in. We've seen a few chaotic games this qualifies, but this has got to be up there, hasn't it?
Definitely. And if you look at the item build, or rather the skill build of the Juggernaut here, we're sitting at 3 points into Blade Fury, which is not the common build.
No, not at all.
He will suffer quite some in terms of just item progression. He will not farm as fast, but he just feels like he needs to go that skill rotation just because he wants to be most effective in this lane. He's gonna suffer essentially if he gets that free farm opportunity in towards the jungle or change the lanes, right? It just, you won't find as much farm if you go that kind of skill route.
We're seeing towards the mid lane, Varlix and Boogie, they have rotated in. Limp's going to have to play very, very safely here. And he will.
There's a smoke rotation coming in by NiP towards the mid lane.
This is nice. Are they going to be able to do anything here? Well, the Timberman is in this jungle. Looks like they're just going to head back down towards the bottom lane. They're not going to be able to find anything in there. Hanskin just picking up the bounty, sending the illusions out here, deciding what his next move is going to be. But I think the most noticeable thing here for the side of 4SC is the fact that their Leshrac, he's got 7 kills 8 minutes in. That Nemphy has been so active globally with these rotations. It's kind of crazy. I mean, if net worth-wise, he must be right up there. Yeah, 4.2k on your left.
Compare that to the net worth of the Viper here. Yeah. Viper's here, there has to be you're a hero that wants to win the lane. If you don't win the lane, it's going to be very tough for you to come back because you rely so much on a team to do well. And just comparing that with a Leshrac, that I wouldn't say that Viper scales a lot worse into the late game, but Leshrac definitely brings a lot more in the mid game for your team, if you're that formed.
Indeed. I mean, the farm for the side of NiP is looking up for Jonas and Fan. He's opted for that VIP pistol. There's going to be a disruption set up here. Trixie's coming through as well. They've got a primal roam with the soul catch onto Jonas and Fan. The axe is flying through. The poison getting laid down as well with the illusions. They will almost certainly be able to bring down. No, he's still alive with the soul rip. He's going to be fine. Now the side of NiP, they want to try and turn this one around onto Boogie and Trixie. But now Matuma-man turning up. And with these points in the thirst, look at him go. He's fairly speedy. He's going to aim for the tombstone first. Wants to take this one down. There's going to be a static storm dropped down by Sealkid. NiP just trying to rotate himself around. Oh, with a finger onto the Undying. They will be able to bring him down. Lightning storm bouncing through all 3 of them. Matuma-man, he's so speedy. Does he not want to go for this one? It doesn't look like he does. He's looking for the... Look at this guy go. They've got to go fast. He's being careful here, though. Era is level 6. Hasn't got the mana for the Omni Slash, though. Timberman just pulling the creep wave away, allowing the rest of his team to take down this tier 1. It looks like they will be able to do that. There's going to be a Hex on there. There will be a TP from Jonas and Fan looking for the call, but he's going to get caught out straight about the split up. Will allow Volix to try and get himself away from this one, but the Battle of Hunger onto the line. They're chasing down. There's going to be an Earth Spike holding back the Axe, and the fight going on globally. Timberman now rotates in with the speed. Arrow will put the Blade Fury. He can't find into that, especially when he's got 3 points into it. Earth Spike holding back Jonas and Fan will bring him down, but Timberman is going to live. There's now going to be the Demonic Purge onto Era, and 4SC, they want to keep going with this aggression. Lightning Storm, the Axe is trying through, but he does manage to get off the Omni Slash. It doesn't matter. Level 1 Omni Slash doesn't do enough against these heroes. Grouped up is going to be a double kill for NiP. And a 10 and these guys, they just want to fight, Hani. And
I'm just amazed by how much aggression you can get into 10 minutes of time now. We're seeing 25 kills in 10 minutes.
What the hell is
not stopping.
I mean, 15 to 10, I guess it is favoring the side of 4SC, and arguably, when you've got the fights happening this thick and fast, it's a good game to have a Bloodseeker in it.
And we got to see that. I just used his Omni Slash. Usually, you want to use that Omni Slash even if you're in a situation where you're behind. You just want to get that one pick off, and he just used it, and he still died. The chance of him getting a kill there, I felt like it was a misplay, just because there was hardly a chance. Unless you get 3 bouncer onto one person, you get that pick off. But there was no hero that was that low where you get that chance of getting the kill before you die, where essentially it makes that Omni Knight, that Omni Slash worthwhile using, and it definitely did not pay out here. And if we look at Elastic, we have an Axe sitting at the most CS here, but if you look at the net worth in comparison, Axe has half the net worth of the Leshrac here.
That's just crazy amount of net worth indeed for NiP, who, I mean, we saw at the beginning, understandably wasn't having the best of times in lane against the Viper in terms of CS, but yeah, he's looking pretty well off for himself. If there's going to be a smoke from the side of NiP.
NiP seems very desperate here.
They've got to find something with this rotation. I mean, 4SC, they're playing pretty careful here. Both Trixie and Varlix hiding in the sidelines. Looks like NiP will want to try and rotate towards the mid lane.
And it does look like me. It does look to me that 4SC spots this out. They just ping towards exactly the area that NiP just had it. They're sitting 100% on top of where 2 pings on the side of 4SC went out to, and you can see them. They rather sit passive. They know exactly where they are, and great read here by the side of 4SC.
Indeed, that's going to allow them to play it safe and not get themselves caught out, at least for the time being. I mean, Timberman, so with this Ogre Club, we see a fair few different builds on Bloodseekers. You know, some like to go straight for the S and Y. I mean, is this more like to be an S and Y, or do you think he's going straight for the BKB this game?
I wouldn't say BKB is too bad, but at the same time, I can't go both directions. It really comes down to the player. If he feels more comfortable getting that BKB usually is an item that if you fight, then it's going to be the better item. If you forms that want to pick off, it's not that great.
Oh, bottom lane straight away with the Roar, the Earth Spike, the Finger, everything onto Era. They bring him down. Now they look for Hansken as well. He did manage to drop down the Tombstone. Limp front down the Volume Strike on NiP, but NiP still has the Lightning Storm out. There'll be a TP out on the side of 4SC as the Beastmaster gets himself out of this one. 4SC, they managed to take down the Tombstone. Now the Blood Right laid down onto Limp. Timberman trying to go to work, and look at this damage that he's doing. There's going to be a Static Storm laid down. Will bring, no, he gets the life steal there. He will still fall. Here's the 2-for-1 trade so far between the sides. Now Jonas and Fan coming in here with the call onto Boogie. They'll be up to dunk him. It's a 2-for-2. And now with a glimpse onto NiP, looks like NiP will be able to find themselves a little bit more here as NiP, he's out of mana and potentially out of luck as well as the call comes through from Jonas and Fan, holding the Leshrac in place. He's looking for the dunk. There's your dunk. Jonas and Fan with a double kill. A very nice fight there for the side of NiP.
And if you want to stay in this game, that was exactly the fight that NiP was looking for. We were kind of missing. Who was missing in that fight? Was it the Beast? Everyone was there.
Everyone was there for the side, yeah. Beastmaster TP'd himself back to base after he'd expended the Roar and the Axes. And yeah, everyone was there, but NiP just coming out on top, and they didn't even need to use the Omni Slash. Era still got that one ready and available. So maybe they can look to find something even more with this.
We're almost actually looking at the Blink Dagger here on the side of NiP on the Axe. He is about to get it. It's actually quite an interesting item set because he gets that Vitality booster before finishing the dagger, and it might have been the right call, but he could have potentially even aimed to finish a Vanguard. But now, as the fight turned out, obviously you're gonna go for that dagger before finishing a Vanguard.
Yeah, I guess the fact that he got the Vit booster fairly early on has obviously been helping him out a lot in these earlier engagements. Mid lane still grouped up as a 3 here. The side of 4SC, Limp trying to find what he can.
I would still give the edge here to this side of 4SC, just because Jugger as well as Viper died in last fight, and that's the core of NiP here. And Axe is not going to deal that damage. He needs people to deal that damage. Of course, he's one of the better heroes to deal physical damage in the early game, but you rely heavily on getting those spins onto the heroes. And if you have no one that backs him up on getting that first dunk, jumping into the next dunk, then it's going to be really hard here for the side of NiP to win these team fights.
Let's see what they can do here. We're seeing Jonathan Fan and Sealkid smoked up here by the Ancients. There's a fair few mid on the side for ESC. And let's see if NiP can make this jump. Worth noting that NiP does, of course, have that completed Bloodstone now. Had it about the 14-minute mark, so indeed pretty scary amounts of farm here on this Leshrac. But what's he going to be able to do with it against the side of NiP's aggression?
I was going to mention that was, you know, the amount of smokes that NiP has used here in this game so far. We were 50 minutes in, and if we look at the side of NiP in terms of their shop, they have no smoke left for 8 minutes now.
Oh yeah, geez, indeed.
I think you're the...
was it 4?
4SC.
4SC.
Yeah, I see 7.5 minutes now on the next smoke.
So this is their last one here.
And it's gonna hurt. They haven't managed to get anything out of it. So you're rather in a position now where you play very passive. You have to wait, and you know, like you have to you see what happens in the game. It's going to be very tough to bypass wards unless you de-ward very well. Then smoke doesn't matter too much. But on the side of 4SC, you have these wards already. We have a ward in the jungle as well as have a ward. We pretty much have 2 wards in one ward in each jungle, and we get quite some information out of it. 4SC now sees 2. You see Jonathan Fan tipping bottom as well as that disruptor, so they see what's happened.
Oh, Hans says that he got quite straight in, able to bring down the Undying before he can get out the Tombstone. And this is going to be great for SC. Want to try and continue this fight. Certainly they do. Matumbaman going straight in, looking for the kill on Sealkid, but now then with the Viper Strike onto the Bloodseeker, holding him back. There's been a Rupture on Terra. Trying to stand this one still. He will be able to blade through himself away from Varlex as he gets the Hex out onto Lim. Varlex is going to be able to keep himself alive here on this line. Jonathan Fan, he's looking for the blink, will in fact just blink back. Looks like they don't want to continue this fight here. But very nice for the side of 4SC, managing to take that tower and take down the Undying as well, and they lose nothing here.
It's a great team decision. They go for that tower push, they get a pick off, now they decide to go back, they continue farming, and it's just for... And I mean, 4SC is going to go ahead in this kind of engagement. NiP just responded. They didn't get anything out of it, but it's going to be very hard for NiP here to make a play. They want to be the active ones, but they wasted all their smokes now. They have no smoke left, so you end up in a situation where you just have to respond. It's going to be very difficult.
And let's see if the side of NiP wish to do that. As there's a bit of pressure coming down here in the mid lane. Limp's there ready and waiting. We're seeing a wraparound being looked for by Hansken and Sealkid. But Forest playing themselves pretty damn carefully. Bottom lane error, just looking to put some pressure onto this tier 1. He's got Jonathan Fan in the sidelines, ready to counter anything the side of 4SC want to do in response. They're not going to come down here. There's going to be a TP that did come through. It's going to be cancelled though. And in fact, there's just going to be a Rupture onto Jonathan Fan, but Jonathan Fan will simply TP himself out of this one and out of harm's way. He's going to be okay. And I mean, yeah, the Jonathan Fan axe, we've seen it a lot of times. It is pretty scary, and he's doing pretty well this game. Didn't have the greatest start earlier on, 3 deaths, but now he's managed to come back 18 minutes in, has Blink Dagger and the Vanguard completed. Ooh, Trixie here on the top lane. Will throw down the roll onto Sealkid, and now he's just sort of trying to get himself out of here. He doesn't look like he will be able to as the glimpse comes through. He gets dunked by Jonathan Fan. There's more money in the pocket of this axe, and 18 to 14 at the moment between these sides. It's pretty tense, Arnie.
Yeah, he was a bit greedy there. I think he had a chance to move past into the forest line, so the Disruptor does not get his first, like he does not get that Thunder Strike onto him. With a Thunder Strike, as soon as that happens, you know you're dead. Like, there's no moving further. Unless you stay in the same position, then Glimpse doesn't have much effect, but at the same time, yeah, you guarantee dead as soon as a follow-up comes into play.
At this point now, so Hansken, he has got that mech finished. Oh, there's going to be a Rupture drop down onto Eric. On the side of 4SC finds this one. Lightning Storm bounces through. There'll be Blood Bright laid down here by the Bloodseeker. And, oh, in fact, hang on. Jonathan Fan's gone straight in here with a call onto Boogie. Does get hexed up, but the spin still coming through, bringing the Shadow Demon low. He's looking for that dunk. Will he be able to find that dunk? He really wants to get it. It looks like he's going to have to give up and just turn around here with a call onto Matumbaman. At the same time, Hansken's coming in to help him out with the Soul Rip. The Tombstone comes out. It doesn't matter. They do lose the axe. Boogie's trying to take down the Tombstone, and the Tombstone will drop. There'll be kinetic build dropped. It's going to allow Haskin to try and get away, but Matuma with the BKB looking to chase down the Undying. Haskin looking to TP out, but the Roar will be there to cancel. It's going to be a double kill for the Bloodseeker. NiP losing 3 heroes off the back of that fight. And as we can see from the fight recap, Leshrac did die, but of course with the Bloodstone came back very shortly. I managed to get the Bloodstone suicide off there as well.
Did. It's very unfortunate on the side of NiP here. One thing to mention going back into that fight, what happened was Bloodseeker, he used his Blood Right. And he zoned everyone backwards, and at the same time, Jonathan Fan jumped in.
To go in, yeah.
He jumped in, so he separated the 2 groups, and it turned out to be a very bad fight because of that. No one on the side of NiP could follow up, and it was just a bad team decision there for Jonathan Fan to jump in. Maybe he wanted to go, and he called for the goal, but he just didn't see that Blood Right. And everyone moved backwards instead of forward to drop. You know, you can dot it both ways, right? You can move backwards or you move outright forward. And if that would have been the call, the fight could have been probably better. But unfortunately, that did not happen.
And NiP need to be very careful about losing these fights now. I mean, they've lost the tier 2 in the mid lane. We're seeing a Beastmaster Trixie at the moment on the side of 4SC. He's got the first level into Necrobook, and there's the second upgrade as well. So, and obviously on top of a Leshrac, the pushing power from the side of 4SC is going to be incredibly scary. And well, NiP need to make something big happen. And we are going to see a 5-man smoke from them heading towards this top lane, but I think 4SC, yet again, they're pretty aware of this potential aggression, and in fact with these wards here on the side of the map, they might have even caught NiP doing this one. And
they're very aggressive.
Yeah, look at these wards.
It could have been in the radar. If it was I did not catch where that smoke came from. If it was at the tier 3 tower in the middle, which I assume it was either there, or we have a ping towards it.
Yeah.
If it was in that area, then I do not assume that was happening.
NiP, they're going to try and take down this tier 1 on the top lane, and they will be able to find exactly that, but at the same time, for SC, they've got bigger things on the menu. They're looking for Roshan here, they're also looking to apply some pressure here onto the bottom tier 2, and there's no way that the side of NiP can stop 4SC from doing this, and this is going to be effectively a free Roshan, a free Aegis.
And we're talking about the pickups on Matuma here. We're talking about it. Either Ascension Yasha, but he went for that Yasha plus the BKB.
Okay.
So it's a very solid pickup. You fight a lot. You're a lot better in a 5-on-5 if you choose to go for that BKB. And well, that's what Matuma did. And if you look back at what happened so far in the 22 minutes, it is probably the right call. You had so many fights where BKB is just that item you want to have against the Disruptor. It's not that great against an Axe, but it's pretty good against Disruptor negation in terms of damage. Same with Undying as well as a Viper. Against against the Omnisesh of the Juggernaut, it's not that great, but overall, it's a solid item pickup for 5-on-5s.
Jonathan Fan, he's got an Ogre Club coming out to him, so it does indeed look like after the Blink Dragon Vanguard, he's going to go for what I'd imagine will be the BKB, because against a lineup like 4SC, having a BKB axe in it all is going to be pretty big. He does find the call here onto NiP, and with the Tombstone dropped as well, this Lesh is in a lot of trouble. There'll be a bit of a reaction coming out for the side of 4SC, and a defensive disruption, buying the Lesh the time, and maybe 4SC can look to fight back into this. He's got a Roar available, and then he's looking to go in with the lineup on the right, hitting 3 of them. This is pretty big, but Jonathan Fan gets himself back into the call. Now with the Roar onto Jonathan Fan, they do lose the Leshrac, but Leshrac with the Aegis, going to be ready to come back for round 2. Hero coming in with the Omni Slash, takes down the Beastmaster. Now it's the 4SC want to keep fighting into this one. NiP's pretty tanky, there's going to be a call for Jonathan Fan, go for the YOLO plays. He's able to bring down the Bloodseeker. Error gets stunned by NiP, and NiP will finish this one off. Lim and Haskin both incredibly low, so Sealkid. They need to try and get themselves out of it. The Shadow Poison flying through Sealkid and Haskin in a lot of trouble. Sealkid, he'll go down to the right clicks of Varlix, and Varlix on a killing spree. Wants to find Haskin as well. He's got a stun. He will find it onto the Undying. Takes him down as well. NiP, they lose 4 here. Only Jonathan Fan on the Axe managing to survive. And again, what a fight for 4SC, and some fantastic players coming out from the team there.
And to me, the MVP of that fight was just the Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
Those disrupts just
at the beginning as well.
Key to these team fights. He gets a disrupt off, and if you look at his skill build, you see 3 levels into disrupt, and I like it a lot because it drops the cooldown of the disrupt from 25 seconds to 16 seconds, and right now it's sitting at 19 seconds, and it was key for him to not die there in that fight. If Leshrac had if it was a disrupt level 2 instead of 3, he would have died because he would not have gotten an extra disrupt off.
It was a big fight there for 4SC, certainly building on their advantage against NiP at this point. And Lesh now sitting on 10 Bloodstone charges, has a completed BKB as well into this game, 24 minutes in, and Bloodseeker I was able to find a bit from that fight as well. And I mean, Lion, obviously with the Blink Dagger, helped him with the plays there. Has a Ghost Scepter now as well. What's he got coming out? He's decided to pick himself up a gem as well. So I mean, we've already seen some very nice and aggressive warning coming out from the side of 4SC now. They'll also be able to keep tabs on what exactly is coming out from the side of NiP. And I mean, we're seeing NiP group up a lot, but they just seem to yet be able to find a team fight where they come out on top, which is kind of surprising when you look at their line. There's arguably on paper very strong in 5-on-5 engagements.
They are indeed. It's just 4SC is just playing better in these 5-on-5s.
Yeah, I mean, look at this with the Blood Ride that's going to catch out Hansken as well. The Undying, he's got to run. He pops the Mecha. They do have the healing ward out. And, well, Limp's trying to go in onto Boogie, looking for a 5-strike. There will be a glimpse back onto Trixie. Trixie will try and TP himself out of this one. Won't be able to make it because Jonas and Fan is there with the call. They have taken down the Beastmaster. Can they look for anything more here? Era has got an Omni Slash. He's thinking about using this one, but no. Varlix is a little bit too far away. Doesn't want to dive that deep, Era. A nice little cheeky pick off there for the side of NiP, bringing down the Beastmaster there in the mid lane.
The story of the game so far, though, is the struggle for NiP here is that their 2 carries are still quite uninformed. Of course, it's not as important with the Bloodseeker. You know, just the net worth doesn't tell the story. It really doesn't. You can be like 15k ahead, and it's still gonna be very hard for you as a Bloodseeker to do too much action. It's a great hero, don't get me wrong, but it's just you still depend a lot on how your team is doing. And on the side of NiP here, let's say you have a jogger that has a lot more form, where the Leshrac now sits at 12k net worth, and you just have a jogger sitting at 6k. If you would, you know, you have a jogger on top of that, then these teamfights could be potentially very easy for the side of NiP, but it's just not that case.
It isn't indeed. I mean, on the plus side for NiP, they do still have this Axe who's very, very rich in comparison to the rest of the team. He's closing in on that BKB now, just under 600 gold away from it. And indeed, yeah, I mean, there's the stats for his performance on Axe. I knew it was good, and well, that is good indeed. 26 wins against the 14 losses all time, and most played hero as well. I think NiP will be very happy that they got the Axe for him this game, because arguably that's one of the things in these fights that's kind of holding NiP in there, and I feel is potentially going to be their biggest saving grace. I mean, if Axe gets a big jump call in, the fights could go very differently, and NiP could easily find themselves taking them.
Very true. And if we try to look at the decision making now of both teams, you can see NiP just circling. They're circling so much. They're sitting together because they almost lose all their outer towers. They have 1 tower left on the top side, and they don't see the movement at all. For 4SC smoked up right now. They're trying to make something happen.
And Varlix is ready to try and go in with the Lightning Storm slow onto Hansken from Nephi, the finger straight up as well. The Soul Catcher, the split up. He gets blown up. Trixie will put the roll down on Sealkin, meaning he can't get anything out of the team fight. He's already got the Static Storm out, but it doesn't matter. There's going to be buyback from the Disrupt down the Undying. Undying gets the turn out. Matuma Man with the BKB trying to fight in onto Era. X being popped on the side of NiP. Sorap as well as Juggernaut. Era will be able to live. Matuma Man has to run. He's going to get glimpsed back into this one, but NiP, they've lost the Jug. They've lost the Undying for the second time this fight. They do lose the Viper as well. It's a 3-for-1 triple kill here for Nephi, who simply TPs out at the end of it all. And again, just 4ASC largely coming out on top of NiP, and they're not even done yet. We're going to see Shadow Poison come out, and there's going to be a disruption here from Boogie, setting this one up for Trixie, coming in with the axes. Bloodright will connect as well, and Sealkid, he'll try and run, but look at the speed on Timberman. He's not even needed at the end of the day, because Boogie on this Shadow Demon picks up the kill, and I think you said it earlier, but Boogie's plays on this Shadow Demon have really helped the team fight potential for SC and been so disruptive, excuse the pun, against NiP, making it very hard for them to fight into the lineup.
It started that fight when it's, you know, when you had a Bloodseeker that commits with a Rupture onto target, it was that already. That, I think I was like, yeah, it was the Undying. He used that Rupture on Undying, and he was dead. He popped back into the fight, but before he got back into the fight, the Disruptor just died. And you know, these kind of things can happen, and what Era tried to do there, he got very low, and he tried to get a good Omni Slash target. He was looking for it, but he couldn't find it, and before, then he wanted to use that, but he wanted to use that ultimate, the Omni Slash, onto the Bloodseeker, he did not get it off. Leshrac in the last second, he got that stun off.
Oh, look at this. Ruptron's arrow again. He will blade through and continue to move himself away. There's going to be a roar onto Limp, who's caught at the front line of this fight with a Hex and the split up. He gets blown up. Viper down for 50 seconds. Mutumbaman will be able to remove the tombstone. Jonas and Fan looking for the blink call. Isn't going to catch anyone. Spike attempted by Varlix. Won't hit onto the axe. But for ASC, do they want to try and push this one up to the high ground? Leshrac looking incredibly tanky, incredibly fat. 16 charges on his blood zone at the moment. And 4SC will back up. They show a little bit of mercy against the side of NiP, but 32-19, 29.5 minutes into the game. If we have a look at the graphs, it's coming up to a huge amount in terms of both net worth and XP, favoring the side of 4 anchors. And again, this game, the performance being pretty spectacular from the side. And I think in these qualifiers as a whole, 4 anchors, they've been surprising a lot of people. I don't know if people thought they play as well as they have been, Hani.
I did have them on my top 2 of that group.
Did you? Okay.
It's just I did not have them as my center top. I thought Alliance would perform, like somewhat better. They haven't really performed at all. I think almost everyone was assuming that Alliance out of this group is going to be for sure one of the contestants.
Yeah.
That is going to take one of the spots at least. Where I have 4SC is going to be the very surprising factor for me. They're going to take games off top teams, and this group was stacked with really good teams.
Indeed it was, and 4SC 32-19 looking to take another win under their belt. What can NiP do in response to it? That is the question. We've seen them try in the last few team fights, but it's not really been going too great for the Dire. But I don't know, they're going to need something big, they're going to need something flashy. Trixie looking incredibly scary, has that Necro free now online, and with 1k gold, he's going to be able to start moving towards his next item. The pings are coming out onto Roshan, which in fact is going to spawn just in time as Jonas and Fan comes around the corner. So NiP, they've got their eyes here on the Roche pit. There's no wards out here for the side of 4SC, but I'm sure they'll look to try and check this one out, and they are heading that way. And well, all the blood rights have been laid down. NiP are going to have to back themselves out of the pit here. It does connect on both Handscan and Jonas and Fan. The question is, are 4SC ready to fight into this one? And indeed they are. Spike comes through, will catch out the Undying. Necrobook's just being thrown in, and Mutumbaman with the blood breeze. The split off onto Limb with the Lightning Storm blowing through as well. Undying, he drops the Tombstone as the high ground, but being Varlix, they're already out of the pit. They're ready to try and take that one down. Mutumbaman holds the BKB. There's an Omni Slash coming from Mutumbaman, bringing the Bloodseeker low, but he managed to get a bit of a life steal as he finishes off the Disruptor, getting himself away because the Roar holding back Era. There's going to be a defensive disruption from Buki. It might actually be bad for Mutumbaman as Handscan's able to get himself in nice and close and personal. Zolcatcher will connect onto the Undying. There's going to be a buyback from Axe. Limp goes down. No, the Sorry keeping him alive. He will still fall here on the Viper. Mutumbaman, he wants to go back in. He's looking for that life steal. He will find him. Mutumbaman getting a bit of heal. Era trying to CP out of this one. Doesn't manage to get himself away. Jonas and Fan looking forward. Wants to try to find something out of this, but he doesn't find the corner to Trixie. Looks for a dog onto Buki. The spin comes through. Brings down the Shadow Demon. It doesn't matter because NiP, they've called GG well played. 32 minutes into the game. It all went a little bit downhill after the mid-game, and I gotta say, 4ASC, their play absolutely impeccable at the end of that match.
Indeed. The way that last team fight started is they were trying to find that axe in the pit, and they get the Necrobook on the axe. Axe can't jump anymore. He's the one person that can get the Necrobook on. And what happened is that he couldn't jump. He had the rupture on top of him, so he was essentially out of the fight. There was no movement anymore by that.